Alright, the next video we're going to do, and we're going to do another little keepsake box, and we're going to do it based upon the classic book Lord of the Flies. Okay, now you're thinking to yourself, how in the world can you make a little keepsake box based upon the book Lord of the Flies? Well, first of all, you start out with this is a 3/4 by 3" figure, and we're going to cut it way down, in other words, as we go along and stuff. But let me do this first. Okay, now what we're going to do is, first of all, let's just go ahead and bring all this down right in here, okay? I'm outside right now, so if you hear an array of different noise, in which you will, I just thought it would be nice to come out here in the cool of the day. Well, it's not necessarily so cool. Let me get this a little bit straightened out right here and over here, like here, okay? And so that we can kind of now the head is way too big, and I'll show you what kind of figure we're going to make. First of all, let me for those of you that have never read Lord of the Flies, a lot of these books were remedial reading. No, we had to read these books in school. And Lord of the Flies, if you have not seen it, it's actually, I think it's more of an English type story about a group of boys that were anywhere the range from 15 to 18, something like that, and even younger. They were stranded on an island together from a plane crash. And during that during that stay on the island, they did some very barbaric type, native type things, and they even killed several of them and stuff like that. And it was just a study on human nature as far as what we can do for survival when we get locked on an island. And I think one of the boys' name was Ralph, and the other was Jack, and the other was shoot. One was Jack, one was Ralph, one was Piggy, I believe it was, and there was several of them. It was a very classical book that we all had to read, and I remember the book very well. And what we're going to do with this is we're not going to actually put a face on him. We're going to do it very similar to the way I did my carvings of the Amish family, where I just left the face kind of a blank type deal, so it could represent any of the boys, in other words, that we had. As you see here, I'm just basically doing like a normal figure. I'm taking the figure down. The key to this figure will not be the face anyway. The key to this figure will be what he is doing, what he is holding. As the boys, as the young men, as they got further and further and became more primitive, they even had a group that would go hunt, and they carried spears and everything like that, wooden spears they had made to hunt. They were killing javelin, I believe it was, or pigs is what they were, basically, on the island. Now, and they just became extremely primitive is what they did. I'm just kind of going around here. Now, what we want to do with this particular figure, and since it's a boy, I'm going to bring the head down even more. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and the hand will be down in the side here on one of them. So let's cut that. Now the hand is the arm is a lot bigger than what it should be, of course. The hand is going to be down like this. And like I said, we make everything down. We bring everything down quite a bit. Now, over here, we want to bring this hand like this. We'll bring it forward, and we're going to keep it over like that and bring it like that. He's going to be holding a spear in his hand, okay? So we're going to cut that right there. We're going to do that. Going to cut that, and we want to try to get as much as possible on making that hand as much thickness as we possibly can. Okay? So we want to put a spear in it. Now we could have put it at his side, but I think this would be even better to be holding it much this way. Now since the box, we have to cut in a 3/4 because the box basically is not much bigger than that, in other words, so you have to fit it into the box. And we're going to just kind of cut a little bit more, give this arm, give this hand even more leverage here, because we're going to bring a lot down on the body. It's not going to be this fat, okay? Then we're going to cut across here, and we're going to remove that right in there, okay? Okay. And then we can bring this down. We can bring this all down. And we're going to bring all this down right in here. A lot. And as we say, we always make something a lot bigger than what it normally is when we make the figure. Lord of the Rings was a... Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Flies. Here we go, yeah, Lord of the Rings. There we are. Lord of the Flies was a very it was just a book basically about what happens when we're locked on an island and we want to survive, and how we'll even resort to actually killing someone else just to survive. And that's the whole premise of the story in itself. William Golding wrote the book, and at the time, I understand, Golding was very dissatisfied with life at that time. So he wrote about basically he was disgusted with society at that time, and murders and killings and things like that. Okay, as we go through here. Now what we're going to do, he's going to be wearing a pair of pants and shoes, but he's going to be naked from the top up. In other words, the boys got to a point where they just wore their pants, and they had their shirts off all the time, in other words, because they were on the island and all that stuff, and naturally that would play out as what they were trying to accomplish there. I'll cut a little bit more down on this, just such a way, and bring this down even more, and bring this down. Okay, but it was a good book, but it was a very difficult book to read, because it wasn't a extremely what you call an adventurous book. It was a sort of a depressing type book. It was a difficult book for a young person to read, because it was just, you know, being in high school, it was difficult for a lot of us to read anything at that time. Continue to bring the okay. And bring that down. All right. Now, of course, let's bring this up even further. Bring this within that arm up as we go forward with it, as we bring the back forward and everything like that. And then we just sort of cut back here, and we just sort of, now that arm is just a little bit too long right in there, so we're going to cut a little bit more off in there. Now one of the things, let me go ahead and take some more off in here to give that arm what we want it to be. And let's bring this up also in here. And then let's gonna from that side bring that over in there. All right. Now you see what we have here? You see this? Now, what we want to do, let me go ahead and come back here. The boys didn't run around naked. They didn't. Some of them eventually got into shorts. We don't really know how that happened. So we're just drawing the pant line right in here. Let me come down just a little bit lower on that pant line. Okay, a little bit lower in here. And let's go ahead and take and come across here like that. And we'll just kind of bring the pants up just a little bit. Make these cuts in here. Just like that. And do the same back here. Cut that and come across. And we're going to come from the inside in here. Alright. Now naturally we're going to have to bring these pants down even further. These are boys now. So these pants legs will be brought down even further. It would not be this, basically this, it would be a skinnier type pants legs, as we commonly say to the boys. And we want to just cut the pants legs in here and in here, and let's bring them just like that. Now of course we're going to bring these pants down. We have to bring that, and let's go ahead and make them, well, they didn't really have, yeah, we can go ahead and put them a little belt across here. But we need to bring that down even more. Let's see. These are still, the legs are not thin enough for boys. Boys have been on an island for a while. They would have been thin. They would have had thin pants on. We need to bring these down quite a bit. Okay. Okay. Now, I just want to run a thing across here and up here to even thin that up just a little bit, as far as, and then we want to sort of bring that up just a little bit right there. Okay. As we thin those legs out, let's come here and go ahead and make a little crease here. A little crease here. Okay. Now let's take some off in here and bring some off in there. As we go. The reason now I want to go ahead and cut the crouch here and the crouch here, and we're going to definitely bring these pants, we're going to fill them with creases because they would be in pretty bad shape. They would be very worn. They would not be in very good shape. Let me run some across there, just to give it the of worn out pants, because they had worn them on the island. They came there dressed rather nicely in such a way, and they ended up, the story actually ended up killing, two of the boys were killed because they imagined that there was a demon or a god on the island, and they had to kill for it. And basically it was a study in human nature, what happens when man wants to survive. And in the end, the boys are rescued, but then they realize that they have now killed their friends for no reason whatsoever. And it just turned out very, very... Okay, now I'm going to come over here, and this is too thick. I'm going to just kind of thin that up a little bit. And then flip that up as we slowly. And then I want to go ahead and cut right here for the hand, and very little just in there. As we go there, okay? This neighborhood is the loudest neighborhood in the world. People are just crazy. It's my mother's neighborhood. And these people just basically, okay. Well, let's go ahead and take these shoes. Let's go ahead and make these shoes sort of like this.